will occur 40 to 45 days. It'll be the last thing to happen when you can just be the average person, walk into the bank and exchange your currency. That's after all these other things occur. Starts with the sovereigns. They got to eliminate it. There's a couple different things going on. One is the Swiss print. There's Tier 1 assets backing up the 2003 to 2005 Swiss print. Then there's another avenue that's going after the overprint and the old three-horse, the old white three-horse. So it depends on which avenue that you're traveling down, and which sovereigns are getting involved into it. Because their intentions they're not after the currency, they're after the assets behind the currency when you're talking about the Swiss print. When the 2003 to 2005, I call them the red horse, but it's a red currency. It's not the white three-horse. And it's not the stuff that Saddam's got his mug on. So that's worthless. But those assets were moved when the war broke out, and they know where those particular assets are. When Iraq put their assets out in the world and got them out of the country, they know where they're at. So the public end of it, I'm optimistic. I know that there was a lot of activity last week. In fact, I had to read it to everybody because last week I got just an in-depth detail on how this is rolling out. The RV was going to happen in the U.S. Again, this is rumor for those of you coming in late to the call. I'm not stating this is my opinion. It's just what was given to me. And I found that it's circulated through multiple sources. 3,000 call centers manned. All the banks are ready. Hell, I even got the websites sent to me to click on to go for the 800 numbers when they come out. The U.S. military is surrounding our infrastructures with the help of the special forces, our power plants, our grid, the water plants. The Jade Helm was an actual thing, that it's out there to protect us from any kind of terrorist attack or bad guys trying to stop this process. So is it coming out? I don't know. Germany was supposed to hit. Canada, Mexico, I was told that they both RV'd. But see, again, it's this constant state of rumor. And I'm a big one that believes all along not to be so arrogant that we believe that we've got this super duper fly on the wall that's going to leak this information to us, and we're the only ones that know it. I don't think any of it is. The people in the UK told me this, and they're unrelated to anybody. They're master traders, so they see the money. They deal with the PRC Heritage Fund. They said when this event occurs, there's going to be 4 people that know about it. I'll be the 5th. No one. It's not going to leak out. You're not going to see it coming. So all these rumors that fly out and all these mailers that come out, you got to take them with a grain of salt, because there is no. Again, don't be arrogant to believe that you have some kind of information that nobody else has got. Because just think about it. You can't let the current banking system and the way trades work and the way currencies work, if it got out that tomorrow at 2 o'clock, absolutely for sure, this is going to happen, the speculation buying on currencies will go through the roof, and they'd have to stop it anyway. So you got to be common sense. Look for the bigger situations to occur to allow these monies, when they do come out, to actually flow. Watch for the new banking systems. Yeah,
Kurt, you asked a real direct question. Will it happen this year, between now and the end of the year? Doug indicated earlier in his intelligence reports that things could get started as early as next week in terms of releasing some funds that's of actual currency. It's not fiat currency. However, we know this, and we've talked about this in these calls, that the private transactions will go first. Right. And the word private is literal. They will be done quietly. No one will know about them, because if they do know about them, they're not going to see their money. So the NDAs are very strict. When they're ready for the public part of it, it'll probably just pop up like Switzerland did when they decoupled and just surprised everybody. It'll probably be the same way.
Well, I understand, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm aware of some of the private pieces. Doug, I wanted to pick up on something you said, though, that obviously, yes, for the mass population that isn't, really focused on this or paying much attention, yes, this will be something that's like, oh, okay. But you mentioned that some of the folks that are now aware of this is more in depth by having followed it through the internet, may be in a position where they become aware of it before it goes to that broader Forex world. Can you expand on that a little bit? Do you really anticipate that, through the many sources out there, the information about the exchange centers, the 800 number, the websites you've mentioned, will become known this month?
This would be personal opinion. I think it will, myself, because I don't think they can hold off much longer. The totality of it's about 20 million people that it affects. And the idea of the powers to be, I've heard it over and over again, I've been informed over again, is the shotgun approach. They want to get as much done as possible as fast as they can get it done. So the rates are going to come out high. They're going to start them out high and let them float down and level out. So they want to get as many people in as they can. And from that point forward. Now you got to remember, all the people pulling this off still lack their own infrastructures. So even the folks that are working with the big volumes of boxes, we know of hundreds of thousands of boxes that are, I would say, in our control, but that have been put under our guidance because of the project end of it, so we see them. Their intentions were to get a big nut drop quick, get as much as they can, get the money flowing so they can use those funds to build the global infrastructure for the intake of the private sector. Because there's over 30,000 people that have submitted files for compensation on their historical assets, 30,000. So you can't do a TTM on each one of those. This thing would take you 10 years to get through that many people. Mm-hmm. So things have to be set up so when they do it, it's a very quick deal. So we have to follow these processes, set up the banking, bring forward the gray screen funds, get a count, how much is out there, what are we dealing with? Bring forth the gray screen funds to accommodate it. Then those funds that they bring forward, make sure they're asset backed. So you have that situation has to be put into place. And then the trickle down effect through the tiering of the banks, from the central bank to the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 banks. So you get to what we call the destination accounts. All of that process is what's been going on for quite a while. And they're there, but you got to let them do the process. So I think the direct answer to the question is, from my point of view, would be yes. I've been wrong, but from everything that I'm seeing and the fact that they want to get it out and spark, you got to remember, if the U.S. has a good buying season from Black Friday on, the rest of the world benefits off of that, in particular China. Because everything that we import and bring here is retail items. All that, the cars and just all the merchandising and the marketing and the advertising and the employees on the TV stations, all of it, the whole mechanism, the whole machine, it just sparks hell. It raises your GDP. We raise our GDP in the last quarter of the year every year. And almost every country in the globe has that same effect. You remember, Christmas is a worldwide opportunity also.
Sure.
So, it expands throughout the world. So that economic growth, it makes sense that if you drop these funds into the economy, that it's realized in the form of growing the economies. And this last month, to me, makes sense. You should do it now. But then again, I thought last year would have been the year. Because the same mentality. Get it out by Black Friday. The window was from Friday, from the 20th through today, was the window we should have saw the GCR and the RV. That was the window. And I warned people, you're pushing it, because when it comes down to how does the money move? At the end of the day, you got to move the money. And it's not that easy to move money in the current SWIFT banking systems that we have. It's very complex. A lot of security behind it, a lot of vetting. It just doesn't happen like that. How can you take 30,000 people and all of a sudden start shipping them money? You don't know what if 10%, 1% of them are bad guys? Mm-hmm. The damage they can do. So we have a different situation in our global security right now that would warrant being a bit more careful and allow our agencies and governments to do their job. See, I'm a big one on our government. Everybody wants to bash it, but I'm a believer in most governments, they're there to protect their people. Yeah, there's some bad apples in there, and there's some guys that should be taken out back and shot in the head. But at the end of the day, our government is there to protect us. So when
if I may interject, if I may interject, and particularly the armed services and the agencies, never mind the government. The governments come and go, but the agencies and the armed services are still there. They will always be there. And they're the guys that are protecting the people. They have a duty, a sworn duty, to serve the country and the people. Foreign enemies and domestic, both. And you can bet your biffy that they're doing exactly that. They're ensuring that the United States of America remains that way. And hats off to those guys that are giving. They sacrificed, they paid the ultimate price, so many of them, trying to keep the freedom in place. And I have nothing but absolute respect for those guys. So I tip of the hat to the boys. But they are protecting everything.
Likewise.
They're making sure that this process is being done properly. And this is not an easy task, especially with the Cabal members and everything else that's happening out there. It is deadly serious, very, very serious. People get killed over this every day. So thank you, everybody over there, for doing what you're doing.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Thank you, Kirk, for calling in with your questions.